So next is the war with Marathas. The Marathas had become weak after their defeat in the third battle of Panipat in 1761. So Tipu here was defeated on the fourth war. Okay, in Marathas they actually defeated after the third war, and that is called the third battle of Panipat in 1761. The Peshwa was the head of the Maratha confederacy. You can say basically it is an alliance, okay, or combined territory of Marathas can be called the confederacy. So generally, who was the head of the Marathas was basically controlled by the Peshwas. Okay, we can say Peshwas were like the prime ministers of Maratha. The British and the Maratha fought 3 wars. The Third Anglo-Maratha War, 1817 to 1819. It actually went for 2 years, destroyed the Maratha power completely. The Peshwa was exiled to North India and his territories were taken over by the British. So almost after the Third War, complete Maratha were broken, their power was gone, and the Peshwa too lost their powers from North India. Other Peshwa chiefs were also forced to give up their territory and were no longer allowed to keep any army. So slowly and steadily they even captured the Marathas, and how Marathas completely lost after the third war, and everyone from the Marathas, from the Peshwas, actually had to give their territory to the Britishers, and they cannot keep any army. Okay, so this strategy of Britishers actually weakened the entire Maratha Empire. Now, expansion under Lord Wellesley, 1798 to 1805. In 1798, Lord Wellesley became the Governor General. He acquired territories through system of subsidiary alliance and outright war. So in these years, Lord Wellesley was appointed as Governor General, okay, from Britishers, and he actually took care of all the Indian territories and how to capture India, or he started making strategies that how to weaken India, how to annex different territories or more and more territories of India. So in 1798 to 1805, he was the Governor General, Lord Wellesley. So he has basically 2 policies. First was the system of subsidiary alliance and outright war. Subsidiary alliance we are studying here, and outright war is whenever you see a chance that the kingdom is getting weak or the ruler is getting weak, so they used to just throw a war and capture. The king used to lose the battle and then capture that territory and people of that territory. Okay, now what was subsidiary alliance? The system of forming subsidiary alliance was a very clever move by the Britishers to take advantage of the rivalries among the Indian rulers. They asked the rulers to accept the supremacy of the British and sign a subsidiary treaty with them. In return, the British promised to protect the rulers from internal rebellion. Rebellion is the revolt, and from attack of his rival. The Indian ruler who signed the subsidiary treaty had to agree to the following conditions. Now this subsidiary alliance was a very clever move on the part of Britishers. So let's suppose this is A is a Indian ruler, okay, and D, B or C are enemies of A. So Britishers will actually ask A that they should sign subsidiary alliance or subsidiary treaty with the Britishers. Now if they will sign this treaty, what will Britishers do? Britishers will give help to A, and will, if B will have a war with A, yes, if B is trying to defeat A, okay, so the Britishers will protect to A because A has signed the treaty with the Britishers. Okay, in return the British promised to protect the ruler from internal, yes, also for example, let's say if A is the kingdom and इंटरनली एक एक किंगडम में कोई प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट होती है, कोई राइवलरी क्रिएट होती है, सो उसमें भी ब्रिटिशर्स ए को सपोर्ट करेंगे, उनको हेल्प करेंगे एंड उन अटैक्स को स्टॉप करने की कोशिश करवाएंगे. The Indian ruler who signed the subsidiary treaty had to agree to the following condition. But there were few conditions that if you are signing a subsidiary alliance with Britishers, so you have to follow certain things. He could not keep any army of his own. If any kingdom or if any ruler is signing a treaty, a subsidiary alliance treaty with Britishers, so that ruler cannot have their own army. Okay, he would not keep an army of his own. He would keep a British army, a subsidiary force, okay, which was supported for his protection and pay for its maintenance. Now, in this case, A will not have its army, his own personal army, okay. Instead, Britishers will give army to A. Now, if Britishers are giving army to A as protection, in return, A has to give maintenance to the Britishers because Britishers have given them their army, okay, which was supposed for the protection and pay the maintenance. In return, what the rulers used to pay to the Britishers? Maintenance, that is a certain amount. The ruler could also cede part of his territory to the British instead of maintaining the British army. Okay, what if Indian ruler did not wanted the Britishers army? If the Indian rulers did not wanted Britishers army, they can cede, that means give up. Give up what? British instead cede parts of his territory to the British. Now, if like A is saying no, my army is more better, I do not want British army, so in that condition A has to give some part of their territory to the Britishers. Okay, yes, this was the second condition. Now the third condition was he would have to take permission from the British before entering into an alliance with another ruler or declaring war against another ruler. Now the third condition was the ruler which has signed subsidiary alliance with Britishers. So anything which they are doing, for example, if they are making alliance with another king, okay, or if they are signing another treaty with another Indian kingdom, Indian ruler, so they have to inform the Britishers first. Okay, so now since the Indian ruler had signed subsidiary alliance and they are under Britishers, so they have to inform each and every step to the Britishers before taking any such decisions. A British officer called a resident, okay, would be stationed at the ruler's court. Also, no official of any of other European power would be allowed in the court. Now, what are they saying? Just a second. Yes. Now, a British officer, okay, and his post was resident, would be stationed at the ruler's court. Now, let's suppose A is a ruler and in his empire there are courts, okay. So since A has signed subsidiary alliance with the Britishers, so in his court there will be one British resident, okay, British resident in the court of the ruler of Indian ruler. Also, no official of any other European powers would be allowed in the court. See, we know that many European countries were coming to India for trade. So, if subsidiary alliance is being signed, so a person, or you can say a designation or a post called resident, will be there in the court and the court of the ruler, and no other person or no other any trader or merchant from any other country of Europe can come to this court after the subsidiary alliance has been signed. Okay.